Across the internet, a strange story has begun to circulate. A hidden empire, a global civilization called Tartaria. A world-spanning culture erased from history. According to the theory, this lost empire built magnificent cities, mastered advanced architecture, and ruled much of the earth, only to be destroyed a few centuries ago. And then, its existence was erased. History books rewritten, maps altered, civilizations replaced. But here's the question. If Tartaria ruled the world, where's the evidence?
I'm looking for Tartaria!
Tonight, on Veilbreaker Collective, we examine the claims, the maps, the myths, and the facts. Because when we break through the veil, a very different story appears. Many Tartaria documentaries begin the same way. They ask the viewer to abandon everything they know, to release established history, question reality, and open their mind. But this is not how investigation begins. The Western intellectual tradition teaches something different. Truth is not discovered by discarding knowledge. It's discovered by testing evidence. The principle was famously defended by Christian philosopher Thomas Aquinas. Faith and reason are not enemies. Truth must withstand both. So instead of abandoning history, let's examine it. One of the most common claims in Tartaria theory begins with a map. Old European maps label large regions of Asia as Tartary. The claim is simple. If Tartary appears on maps, it must have been a forgotten empire. But this assumption misunderstands how early cartography worked. European map makers often used broad regional names for areas they did not fully understand. The word Tartary simply referred to lands inhabited by Tartar and Mongol peoples. These names became common after the rise of the Mongol Empire under Genghis Khan. To European explorers, Central Asia was vast and unfamiliar. So many different cultures were grounded together under a single label. It was geography, not an empire. Tartaria theorists often argue that cartographers were too skilled to make mistakes, but historical maps are full of them. One famous example lasted over a century. Maps depicted California as an island. Explorers simply misunderstood the coastline. Cartographers copied each other's errors, and the mistake spread across Europe. If maps could turn California into an island, they could certainly mislabel regions of Asia. Many Tartaria theories attempt to connect the empire with the legendary lost civilization of Atlantis. This story originates with the philosopher Plato, specifically in his works Timaeus and Critias, but most historians agree Atlantis was never meant to be literal history. It was a philosophical warning about pride and the fall of civilizations, yet in modern conspiracy narratives, allegory becomes archaeology and speculation becomes fact. Perhaps the most dramatic Tartaria claim is the idea of global mud flood. According to this theory, entire cities were buried only a few centuries ago. The supposed evidence? Buildings with windows below street level. But historians and archaeologists know why this happens. Cities evolve. Roads are raised. Foundations settle. Layers accumulate. In fact, cities like Rome contain archaeological layers built over thousands of years. No global catastrophe required. Just time. When evidence fails, conspiracy fills the gap. Tartarian narratives often claim powerful groups erase the truth. Romans, governments, religious institutions. But historical records come from many civilizations. Chinese historians recorded trade with the Roman world during the Han Dynasty. Persians wrote about Rome. Arab scholars wrote about Rome. To erase history on a global scale would require rewriting thousands of independent records across continents. Such a conspiracy would be impossible to hide. The idea of a hidden empire is powerful. It promises secret knowledge, forbidden history, a world far stranger than the one we know. But real history is already extraordinary. The rise of cities, the spread of ideas, the achievements of civilizations across thousands of years. We do not need a forgotten empire to make the past fascinating. We only need to follow the evidence. And when we do, the legend of Tartaria fades, leaving behind what it truly is, a modern myth. This is Veilbreaker Collective, and sometimes breaking the veil means defending the truth.